Welcome to the motherfucking relay where we're covering today's top boxing news.
Mayweather Promotions International TV syndication can't lace Matchroom's boots, right? So when we do a show, our shows are seen by far more people than a Mayweather Promotions show, right? We all know they want Tank to be a pay-per-view fight. Will they put Tank against Farmer on pay-per-view as his first fight? Yes, right? How many buys does that do? 400. Really? Fuck. Really? That many? Okay, well I would have said 150, 200. Even at 300, 350, 400. More people watch on DAZN. So you can't say that you want to put that fight on Showtime pay-per-view because it's a bigger audience. It's not. Internationally, it will be a bigger audience doing it on DAZN with our international TV partners. So that excuse is just bullshit.
If you were to have a marquee fighter, would you really let your marquee fighter go on?
If the money was right. But the money's obviously not right. It's not about, so tell us what the money is right. Tank, give me your number. Go on social media tonight and post just a number. Might be 7. Just tweet 7 and we'll offer it. Do you know what I mean? But you can't say, if you're Leonard, you can't go online and say, yeah, well, Tank's making, no, he ain't making $5 million. Don't pretend he's making $5 million. What I said was, my idea was, look, rather than mess around, right, we both bid for it, but we agree a split. I think it should be 60-40. If you think it should be less, 65-35, said, let me know. And we'll both put the bids in for one fight only. Whoever pays the most amount of money to the fighters wins. So let's see who's got the deepest pockets, put the money in. That's it, amazing for the fighters. Javonte Davis makes a fortune. Tevin makes a fortune. The fans get the fight, and then whoever wins goes back to their network and says, thank you very much for their belts. Do you know what I mean? Too many people in boxing are too worried about their relationship with their network without thinking about their fighters.
Now, before we actually get into this, let me preface everything I'm about to say with this. I'm not actually holding my breath for Javonte Davis to fight Tevin Farmer, Miguel Bichelt, Jamel Herring, or anybody with a pulse at 130 pounds. I have no illusions about that situation. As sweet as the deal sounds, Eddie Hearn offering as much as $7 million for Javonte Davis to have a one-fight, I repeat, one-fight engagement,
just one
unification match, staged on DAZN for $7 million. Such a price.
You won't do it.
As sweet as that deal sounds, I don't expect Javonte Davis to take it because his handlers won't let him. Leonard Ellerbe in particular. So, when we enter in this discussion in regards to what Eddie Hearn is saying on camera, the open barbs that both he and Leonard Ellerbe have been taking at each other the last couple of days, do realize that I'm not engaging in this conversation with aspirations of seeing the fight get made. No, I don't think it's going to get made. Quite honestly, I think Leo Santa Cruz will end up getting that fight before Tevin Farmer does, because I don't think Javonte Davis is going to fight Tevin Farmer. But I'm not having this discussion with hopes of seeing the fight happen. I'm just examining whether or not there's any truth to what Eddie Hearn is saying. Like when he says that, Leonard Ellerbe, the people over there at the money team, don't pretend that Javonte Davis is making $5 million a fight.
He's not.
I'm just looking to see if there's any truth in that. And you know what? There is. There is. I mean, look at what Javonte Davis made for the Ruiz fight. He only made $1 million for that fight. He was offered 5 times that amount to square off against Tevin Farmer in a unification fight.
Months ago.
To which the stage is already set. The backdrop is already there. People want to see the fight. Anybody interested in the 130-pound division and what fighters are there, what titleists are there, they do want to see that fight.
It ain't happening, no.
But, in spite of that, he didn't take that $5 million offer. They turned around and offered Tevin Farmer, $2 million? To cross the street over to Showtime? They offer you $5 million to do it on their platform, and you turn around and offer Tevin Farmer $2 to do it on yours? You can't have made that offer with any earnest sentiments towards getting a fight done. You didn't. You didn't offer him that money thinking that he would take it. You just offered him that to have something so that the pundits will have something to write about. You tried to save face. You tried to make it seem like you're pushing for that fight, but we all know that you're not.
You're not.
You weren't before, and you're not now. You guys, you're trying to gaslight the boxing community. Convince them that somehow Javonte Davis is some kind of pay-per-view star, some kind of celebrity because he's pulling in what on Showtime? 430,000 views?
For Ruiz.
500 and change or whatever?
With Nunez.
And this supposed to be a pay-per-view star? I mean, we covered a lot of this shit already. The story here is what Eddie Hearn is proposing. A blind bid. And whoever puts up the most money gets to stage the fight. That if you really are who you say you are, you know, you got the kind of money that you're always bragging about, and you want to make the fight, and you believe in your fighter. You believe in Javonte Davis, right?
Right.
Well, if you really want to, you know, make an earnest effort towards having him fight in the kind of fight that he should be fighting in, because he's a two-time champion at 130 pounds, but he's still coattailing off the success from the Pedraza fight. And how long ago was that?
Sheesh.
3 years ago? What's he done since then? You know? 2-3 years ago, something like it. That if these guys really, you know, believe in their fighter, they got the kind of money they're always talking about having, you know, and they want to make the fight, okay, so do the blind bid. He puts in his bid, you put in yours, whoever puts up the most money gets to stage the fight.
It's a problem.
And it's not even like Eddie Hearn is trying to, you know, I guess have Tevin and Davis, you know, have the fight on even terms. No, he's acquiescing that Javonte Davis get the lion's share of the pot. 60-40 split in favor of Javonte Davis. So how sweet does he have to make the deal for you guys? It seems that, you know, the money team and just the PBC as a conglomerate, you know, you gotta sweeten the deal to the point to where it's too good to be true. That these guys, you just can't get them in the ring because they don't want to be there. That's the reality of it. If you can't get these guys in the ring, if you have to twist their arm to get them to just come to the table and discuss it, it's because in all actuality, they don't want those fights. They don't want their fighter in that kind of a fight. Their commitment to Showtime and to whatever networks are out there, you know, Showtime, Fox, because this kind of a situation is not exclusive to Javonte Davis, but better still, TMT's
loyalty,
you know, priority seems to be to Showtime more so than it is to their fighter. Yet last I checked, TMT is Javonte Davis's promotional outfit, right?
Right.
It's up to you guys to get this guy the money. Well, there's more money, guaranteed money, not maybe money, not upside, not if this many people buy the fight, but actual guaranteed cash. There's more money waiting for him to have that one fight on DAZN than trying to stage it as a pay-per-view on Showtime. Because while there is a demand for Davis versus Farmer, a lot of people's demeanors towards that fight will quickly change if you try to charge them $75 for it. It's the reality of it. Nobody wants to say it, but I will. Oh yeah, people want to see the fight, but they don't want to pay close to $100 for it. Come on now. What is it? TMT, PBC, any single fight, every single fight it seems, that involves two guys that have a pulse.
halfway decent.
Every single fight they want to bill it as a pay-per-view, and that's the problem. The American pay-per-view market, it's not what it used to be. People don't want to pay that kind of money, and while Tevin Farmer versus Javonte Davis is one of the most intriguing fights the division has to offer, don't kid yourself. You're not going to get 500,000 buys for that fight.
No.
I think you'd be lucky if you got 300,000 buys for that fight, because Javonte Davis's numbers are his numbers. 430K for Ruiz, 500 and change for the Nunez fight. How much do you think that translates into pay-per-view buys? If Deontay Wilder, and I've said this before, if Deontay Wilder can pull in upwards of 1 million views on regular Showtime, and that only translates into 325,000 buys, then what do you think Javonte Davis's buys are going to look like when he brings in less views than Wilder? It's common sense. It's basic arithmetic. It's not hard to figure out, you know? And what Eddie Hearn is proposing here is quite honestly a put up or shut up situation, to where if you got the money and you want to make the fight and you believe in your fighter, there's no reason you shouldn't do a blind bid.
No excuses.
You put up your number, I'll put up my number, and whoever puts up the most money wins. Problem solved. That's if you want to see the fight get made. But we all know that underneath it all, underneath all the sound bites, all the interviews, all the bravado and all the bullshit,
They don't want it.
Leonard, the TMT, they don't want to see that fucking fight get made. You kidding me? They'd rather spoon-feed Javonte Davis applesauce on Showtime, tomato can number 1 and tomato can number 2, to try to gaslight, convince the boxing community that he's better than what he is. Look, the kid might be the genuine article, but at this point, we don't know, because he's not fighting the best fighters. Not at his weight. He seems determined to fight the best fighters at 126 as opposed to 130. So I mean, really. And how much longer are we gonna have to hear Leonard Ellerbe use the ghost of Floyd fucking Mayweather, who is retired at the end of the day? How long is he gonna use his name as a means to make TMT seem like something that it's not. You know, TMT is a promotional outfit at the end of the day. It's a subsect of the PBC, but better still, it is a promotional outfit, and it's for that reason we can compare what they've got to what Matchroom's got. Oh, Matchroom's got much bigger deals than the TMT by far, whether we're looking at what they got going on with DAZN or what they got going on over there in the UK with Sky Sports. They got much bigger deals than anything the TMT's got going on. They got a much bigger stable of fighters, a much better stable of talent than what TMT's got going on, because what do they got? Seriously, what do they got? Andrew Tabiti, who just got knocked the fuck out. Badu Jack, who has yet to come back, and, you know, he's coming off a loss. Who knows who he's going to be fighting. And Javonte Davis and his abysmal Showtime numbers. That's what TMT's got. You tell me, what does TMT have that Matchroom doesn't have? What do they got? You know, because they are a promotional outfit at the end of the day.
Aren't they?
Yeah, bottom line is, a lot of what you hear from Leonard Ellerby is a lot of hopeful talk, a lot of, you know, well, we did this. He sounds like somebody's uncle out there talking about the glory days. A newsflash. Floyd's retired, bro. So what else have you got?
Huh?
Keep talking about Floyd. When are you going to shell out another one? Don't tell me it's Javonte Davis. He ain't the next Floyd, man. Nah. Anyway, it's more the same from the usual suspects. In other news, it appears that the WBO 140-pound champion Cristina Linardatou has just inked a pact with Lou Dibella Entertainment. And this provides a very promising future for Christina's aspirations. We all know that Christina wants that Jessica McCaskill fight. We all know that she means to unify the division. And this very much seems to be the focal point of this deal. This is what they aim to do. And I'll tell you something. Look, Lou Dibella and Eddie Hearn. These guys have their barbs towards each other the same way that Bob Arum and Eddie Hearn have their barbs towards each other. But they don't let that stuff get in the way of business. And I very much see this as an opportunity for Cristina Linardatou to perhaps make an appearance on DAZN, on an undercard for Matchroom or something or other, in all honesty. Need I remind you that in spite of some words that have been said in the past, Lou Dibella co-promotes Tevin Farmer with Eddie Hearn. So it's not like these guys don't collaborate. They're already collaborating. And in a situation where you want to get Cristina that fight, you want to build it, you want to build that McCaskill fight, you want her to be the unified 140-pound champion, there's no other platform out there that's better suited for that goal than DAZN. And that's what potential opportunities this promotional pact entails. You know, that Lou Dibella could get her on one of those cards, and her being in cahoots with DAZN, that brings her closer to that McCaskill fight, but that also brings her closer to a Katie Taylor fight, who's rumored to be making a move upstairs to the 140-pound division very soon, and her aspirations at 140 seem to be the same as what her aspirations were at 135. She's going to shoot for undisputed in that weight class as well. Well, in order for her to do that, she'd have to square off against Cristina at some point, because Cristina's got the WBO title.
Two ways about it.
Cristina is somebody that either Jessica, Katie, or both are going to have to deal with. In order for those fights to happen in a smooth fashion, in order for it to come into fruition, in order for the fights themselves to get the most exposure they can, Cristina's definitely in the right place. In league with Lou Dibella, who may so choose to collaborate with Eddie Hearn to get her on DAZN. So I'm very happy with the move. I think it's the right move. I like what's going on. I like how the environment, the topographical environment, is taking shape. And I look forward to seeing what new developments come into fruition as a result of this partnership. And finally, it was reported earlier this week, I don't know if you guys saw it, that Austin Trout, get this, he's planning a move downstairs to 147 pounds. And he's looking at names like Manny Pacquiao, obviously. This is what I talked about. Just about any guy and every guy at the PBC wants a Pacquiao fight, even the guys at 154. Better still, he's looking at names like Pacquiao, the winner of Errol Spence versus Sean Porter,
What a loser.
Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia. And, you know, these are just my thoughts on the move. This strikes me as a move that's motivated by a guy who, you know, he still wants a couple of paydays. He's not quite ready to retire, but he's done all he can at his current prescribed weight class. When it comes to Austin Trout and the junior middleweight division, he's fought a lot of fucking guys in that weight class, some that have come and gone. Guys like Miguel Cotto, Canelo Alvarez, anyone from the Charlos.
Both of them.
Landy Lara, Jared Hurd. Christ's sake, he was last in action against Terrell Gausha. So this is a guy who is at a point to where he's tried everything he can try in the junior middleweight division. There's just nothing left there for him. So, you know, the nearest weight class that has some different opportunities, some good money opportunities, is downstairs, at least for a PBC fighter, because, well, quite honestly, DAZN's got a strong hold over the middleweight division. It's likely why Austin isn't looking up, rather, he's looking down. And, you know, you gotta wonder how a guy who's 33 years old is gonna fare when he makes a move downstairs. You know, making a move downstairs when it comes to men's boxing, it's a bit taboo. It's a bit of a crapshoot. It's actually more common in women's boxing for a female fighter to arrive healthy when making a move downstairs. But when it comes to the guys, you know, that's not often the case. I mean, on one end, you know, it might work out
Like it did for Bramer.
for Austin Trout the way it did for Jürgen Brammer when he moved down from light heavyweight to super middleweight. He went down there, he gave Rob Brandt his first professional loss, so he arrived at the weight healthy. But on the other end of the spectrum, we see what happened to Curtis Stevens.
Very recent.
When he moved down from middleweight to junior middleweight. This is a guy who exhibits almost no punch resistance at this point. You know, on one end, you look at a guy like Nonito Donaire, who's already a very accomplished guy, and he moved down in weight very recently to a weight class he hasn't fought in years, and so far so good, right? But on the other end of the spectrum, we also have examples like what happened to Oscar De La Hoya when he decided to move down for Manny Pacquiao. We could see that the guy was drained, took too much out of him trying to make that weight, and just in his overall condition, his physique, you could tell it took a toll on him. It's a crapshoot as to whether or not Austin Trout can make that weight healthy, and he attributes the motivation to do so behind his new diet. Apparently this guy's been eating grass, rabbit food, tofu, legumes, all kinds of stuff. Makes him feel like he can make the weight and still compete. Well, that has yet to be determined. We don't know that he'll arrive at that weight healthy, but I dare say that, you know what?
I don't think so.
Austin, for the most part, he's a tough guy. He's been a tough guy in the junior middleweight division. I mean, this isn't anybody's patsy, anybody's slouch. But at 33 years old, having fought the people that he's fought, been in the ring wars that he's been in, if he decides to cut weight, I really do think that his punch resistance is going to be compromised as a result of that, you know? Yeah, maybe it's possible that he makes the weight okay, but at the elite level, the upper echelon guys, I don't see Austin winning a title from none of those guys. So bottom line, you know, I choose to be cynical about it. I don't think that the move is going to yield anything for Austin that we haven't been seeing already at 154. That, you know, he may occasionally show a glimmer of the kind of fighter that he used to be. And, you know, he might be a tough nut to crack for a little while, but at some point, if he climbs too high, he's going to be on a slippery slope and he may fall off in all likelihood. And I don't say that to be a negative Nelly. I'm just being honest. And look, more often than not, that shit just don't work out, man.